My girlfriend has been sleeping with my roommate. I can't believe this is happening to me. It seems that this nightmare has been going on for some time. I've been in a relationship with her for over a year. I have to admit, when it comes to the bedroom, I'm not very confident. I know I'm not great, but I always try my best. I truly love her, and I thought our relationship was wonderful. But last night, everything came crashing down. I witnessed the most heart-wrenching scene. I saw her, the person I loved, having sex with my roommate, my best friend, the one I thought I could always rely on. I'm a socially awkward person, and I don't have many friends. I believed that as long as I had him, it was enough. There they were, right in the living room, without any shame. I was frozen, staring in utter disbelief. Then I heard my roommate tell her to be quiet, so they wouldn't wake me up. And she said that I had never noticed before, which made it clear that this had been going on for a while. You see, my lack of confidence in the bedroom mainly stems from my small size. It's always been a source of insecurity for me. And now, seeing her cheat on me like this has made it a million times worse. I feel so lost. I don't know what to do. Finding a new place to live and getting out of my lease won't be easy. My family is abusive, so going back to them is not an option. The few other friends I have are closer to my roommate. They're not people I can really open up to. And I've put so much of my heart into this relationship. She was my first love. I can't just act like I didn't see what happened. But the thought of having to leave my apartment and being all alone scares me. I'm already dealing with the intense pain of being betrayed by the two people I trusted the most, along with my own personal insecurities. The idea of being completely alone is terrifying. I talked to my landlord, and thankfully, he was understanding. He offered me another apartment. It's an unofficial arrangement. Technically, I'm still responsible for my old lease, but I can stay in the new one for now. Just as I expected, those so-called friends of mine took my roommate's side. I've decided to cut them out of my life. I don't need that kind of fake friendship. Mentally, I'm in a really bad place. I'm all alone, dealing with my insecurities, the loneliness, and the heartbreak. But at least I'm out of that horrible situation. I've taken a week off work to try to sort myself out, and I've made an appointment to see a therapist. My situation is far from good, but I hope it won't get any worse. I'm trying my best to pick up the pieces and move forward. I think my partner of 10 years might have abandoned me and our baby. I'm truly at a loss for words. I'm so grateful to anyone who takes the time to read this. I'm completely shattered, heartbroken, and utterly bewildered. I desperately need some understanding and advice. It all began with our shared dream of building a family. A few years ago, we purchased a house together. But since the majority of the down payment came from his RSP, only his name was on the title. This made me a bit uneasy, but we were planning to get married after saving a bit more, so I reluctantly agreed. I covered all the moving expenses and furnished the entire house, so our financial contributions were roughly equal. Our daughter was born last November, a child we had planned for and he had claimed to desire. However, during my pregnancy, he unexpectedly developed a gambling problem. He gambled away several of his paychecks. After a month of this, I managed to convince him to let me handle his finances. I gave birth, and when our daughter was just 4 weeks old, he said he had the flu and went to stay at his parents' house for an entire month to avoid getting the baby sick. I expected him to be gone for a few days at most. When he came back, in March, he announced that there was a major work project that required his full attention. Since I was on an unpaid maternity leave as a self-employed person, he was the sole provider. But then he started shutting me out. He said he was too busy with work and stressed to even say hello in the morning. Oddly, he was awake all night and sleeping during the day. Around the same time, the HR department called me because he hadn't logged into work for a few days, and they sent a wellness check. For a month and a half, he barely spoke to me, ate alone in his room, and completely ignored our baby. Then he demanded his bank account back. I had no choice but to return his card, hoping he wouldn't cut me off from the account. But he did, and he resumed gambling. After he lashed out at me when I tried to talk to him, I decided to go to my parents' house for a few days. He mostly stopped responding to my texts, except to tell me to leave him alone and that he was depressed. Occasionally, he would reply, saying he was trying to get therapy and that I couldn't come home until he had spoken to a therapist. All this time, I was worried sick that he was gambling and not paying the mortgage or bills. This went on from June through August. I pleaded with him to talk to me, but he refused. Finally, in September, he told me he was behind on the mortgage and needed money. I sent him the money. At first, he thanked me and said I could come home soon, but he had hardly let me into the house to get my or our baby's things, and he had screamed and caused a scene the few times I had shown up to. Then he stopped talking to me again, only texting me to tell me to stop bothering him. Sometimes he would say he loved me and wanted us to come home, but only after he had completed therapy. Now, just before our daughter's first birthday, he blocked my number and unfriended me on Facebook. I've been begging him to tell me what's going on, but I've received no response. We have 4 cats that he won't let me have. I own all the furniture and many of our belongings in the house. I have no idea if the mortgage company will repossess the house and discard everything. I'm worried sick about my cats. I don't even know if we're still together. I've asked his parents to talk to him. They're in touch with him and gave him money to pay the mortgage arrears. But they say they don't know what's happening and that he won't discuss it with them. I was at my parents' house and now I'm staying in my brother's basement. I feel like I've lost everything. I have no idea what went wrong. Just writing this has been a relief. I've been so depressed over this situation that some days it feels like I can't breathe. I think I've been in denial. I keep thinking this can't be real and that one day I'll wake up to his sincere apology, all the bills paid, and I'll be able to return to our beautiful home. It was our dream house. We got it at a great price. It's a beautiful historic home with 6 bedrooms, original features, and a huge yard with century-old trees. It was the neighborhood I had always dreamed of living in. The thought that I'll never be able to afford a house on my own and that I don't know where my daughter will grow up is killing me. I grew up in poverty and thought I had finally achieved something and could give my baby a good life. To be blocked with no answers, and for him to be losing the house without giving me a chance to save it for our daughter's sake. He doesn't even know where I'm living. I slept on the floor for 2 months when this first started. I truly believed we were soulmates.